Now, contesting the opposition's point of view, the government is pointing the finger towards recent data released. Now, as per the data released by the central bank, Sri Lanka's economy grew in the last quarter of 2024 by 5.4%, along with the per capita income growing to around $4,516 from the previous year. However, one of the key areas of focus in this country, which is the agriculture industry, now according to data by the central bank, the industry's growth shrank 2.2% due to issues pertaining to crops at the latter part of last year. Now, despite the positives, economic experts are warning for the government for them to be very cautious with its money management as we move on towards opening the economy to pre-2022 and pre-COVID eras. One of the jitters many are having is the government's decision to open the ban on vehicle imports, despite the government reassuring concerns are on the rise to how tight the government can keep the lid and ensure that foreign reserves won't take a hit. Well, let's bring in Deputy Minister of Economic Development, who's also the Minister of Labour, Dr. Anil Jayantha Fernando. Thank you very much, Minister, for your time. I appreciate it. I know I spoke to you about this issue a couple of weeks back on Get Real, but since we are now getting closer to the lifting of the vehicle ban, I'm once again asking, Doctor, whether the government is confident that when this ban is lifted, it would not dent the foreign reserves, because during the budget debate, an opposition parliamentarian said with much confidence that the dollar reserves will surely drop to around $4 billion from current rates with this importation of vehicles. He warned the government to take steps. How do you respond, Minister? Is there a threat?
Mahieash, it's like this. You have to first understand what's really meant by these reserves and its implications. So here, gross external reserves, meaning the amount of the foreign assets held by the central bank and the monetary authority, so that is mainly the central bank as of now. This reserve, as it means by the word the reserve, it's something set aside to face and utilize for importation purposes. It is an international indicator to measure the level of our external buffer. So there is no hard and fast rule that it should always increase or decrease, but benchmark is whether we have at least adequate reserves for importation for 3 months time period. Just coming to your question, of course, when we increase imports, when we make payments in dollars, maybe loan repayments, debt servicing or investments, of course the reserve level goes down. Then again, that would really would build when the central bank purchases, exports increases. Likewise, it is something that not static number, it is dynamic value, it increases. So it is pretty obvious. When we import, the value goes down. It doesn't mean that it is a big issue. When we take the entire macroeconomic situation, it is one variable, the external reserve is one variable. We are confident and we are highly confident that we are building it. So therefore, by showing that it went down, it would create a big economic issue, it is not true. We need to look at from a holistic the point of view. And the importation, of course, the monetary authorities would very closely monitor the situation, how it fluctuates. As of now, the present the lifting of the vehicle importation, the ban was done after doing all these calculations. And again, I must emphasize the fact that economics cannot be simply weaved and interpreted with numbers only. It is a social science.
Minister, now with regard to the economic projections, how confident are you with the data at hand that the set targets of the IMF can be reached for this fiscal year?
Yeah, with respect to the fiscal administration, our targets are the revenue, government revenue collections. Revenue comes from several sources as of now. So basically, we work based on the best available information. And as of now, we are highly confident. Why I am saying this? During the short period of our government, 3 months or so, we were able to meet the targets. That is without the before the budget, with the given setup, given structure, given tax administration, even with these constraints, we were able to do. So for the next year, of course, some constraints, structural issues are there. However, with the experience, with our commitment, and even we see very important thing with the other revenue collecting authorities. So they are dedicated, they work hard, and they have a kind of enthusiasm built in them that they could do it. So we are hopeful that we can not only reach the target, but also we may exceed. For instance, last 2 months, January, February, already we have exceeded the targets.
Indeed, Minister, before I let you go, I want to talk a little bit about investments. Now, Adani Group is now saying that they are willing to work with Sri Lanka, but on the same terms. Government says it needs revisions to the existing agreement. Adani later refuted news that they were willing to renegotiate. Now, what's the middle path here, Minister? Because we do need investments to flow into the country, and not sure that there are bottlenecks when investing in Sri Lanka.
No, actually, we need to first understand what the real bottlenecks in investing Sri Lanka and any other negotiations or the things like, because this was an agreement they made with the previous government. No matter, we can continue as long as those agreements or investments would really serve the purpose. So here, fundamental issue with regard to Adani in the energy sector, the power purchasing agreement. That price is too high because we are working with an objective of bringing the electricity cost down at least by 30%. In order to do that, the power, the purchases or the unit at least should be within 5 cents. But this agreement is 8.26 cents dollars in terms of dollars. So that is too expensive. That is for 20 years. The projection for solar and especially the wind in the future, what we call renewable energy, is gradually coming down, maybe 3 cents, 2 cents, and the capacity is also increasing. In such a situation, if we go for with the same terms, we would be really trapped. So therefore, we did not, we do not, how to say, discriminate investors. We have created level the playing field here and the facilitating them and the very transparent, so that if they can bring the cost down. In the case of Adani, of course, Adani supplies the same energy to Indian grid at a price of 3.5 cents, but here it is 8.26. So it's apparently it looks to be unfair. So it doesn't mean that we are finding a middle path or just fix something. No, our objective is totally different. As long as the new investment can reach and address these objectives, of course, we don't have any hesitations with working with any investor. So always this is open for Adani. We have not chased Adani way. It is wrong, the reporting. We just told and stress, even like further re-stress, that we want to reconsider this situation. If the price can be brought down, so situation is okay. And this is open for any investor in the future. We strongly believe that once this message really would pass to investors, that there is a level playing field. They need not to pay any commission, bribes, and we further reduce the time taken to approve investment, because as of now they have to work with different windows. It takes longer time. Now through a single window, we would certainly bring the time taken to clear the basic things, licensing and others. Maybe in the future things would be all right, and investors can find good opportunities in Sri Lankan context.
Absolutely. All right, let's leave it at that. Thank you very much. That was the Deputy Minister of Economic Development and Labour, Minister Dr. Anil Jayantha Fernando. Appreciate it, sir. Let's take a short commercial break, and when we return, Dr. Kenneth De Silva, a global business cycle economist and later the former CEO of Ceylon Development Engineering Company and economic researcher Sunil Abewardhana will be here to talk about why this government too is missing the mark with the IMF plan. This is the State of the Nation. Back in a moment.